Alright, the next knot that we're going to talk about is the Alpine Butterfly. It is for when I want to tie a loop in the middle of the line, and it's one of the best knots out there. I only have 2 knots that I use in this category of putting a loop in the middle of the line, and one is the Doppler loop for my fishing lines, and I use the Alpine Butterfly solely for everything else, unless it's a very quick situation, and then maybe I'll use a overhand and bite or something. But this is the knot that I use all the time. And how you tie it is you put it on your hand and you loop the bottom, and then you make a loop to the top so it comes far away. Then you pull back and you loop all the way to the bottom again, so it looks like this. You take this on the very top, pick it up, and make it go through here. Make it go under these 2 lines. So pull it around those 2 lines and back through the hole, and that's an Alpine Butterfly. And this loop can be tied and put under heavy load, and it usually, depending on what type of line you have, but I've only seen it jam on really slick lines. So, but it just takes a tool and you can break it. But every other line, normal lines, you can break this knot really easily. It can be pulled in any direction, the loop can, and it won't capsize or walk down the line. Also, it can take a breaker stick through the center so it can be pulled out and untied really easily. And I'll tie that one more time for you. You tie a loop far down at the bottom, then you arc it up so it comes up to the top, and then arc it back down so those 2 lace over each other. There's another way where you have three lines, and it's very confusing. I find this one to be a much more better method of tying it. Then you take this loop and bring it over the top and underneath these 2 loops. Over top of them, and then push it through the hole underneath and pull it out. And then tend that knot so it's nice and tight. And that is the Alpine Butterfly. Now if you need to make 2 loops in the end of the line, you would just, at the very top, instead of going, you got one at the bottom and one at the top, you just go around the top again, you make another loop around the top, and then come back down. So you have 2 loops around this and 2 loops here. So you take these 2 loops and go through them. It's actually would be how I do it is I wrap big loops out here. And then I come back across. So now I have these 2 tall loops because around the end of my hand is too small to get them through there. So, and the bigger it would if you wanted 2 big loops. So you just wrap 2 loops on the end out here and then sew them through underneath. Tend everything together. And it takes a little finagling to get them the same length if that is your if that's your goal, but you just tend the knot so that you get it, and then set it, pull on it, test it, and then there you go. That's a double Alpine Butterfly. Okay, the next knot we're going to tie is a dropper loop, and the dropper loop is a midline loop that I use for my fishing lines, and it works on monofilament as well as braided lines. So how you start is you make big twist, take a large turn, and then I flip that turn over itself so it's like this. And I'll make that turn bigger so you guys can see it better. Okay? Now these 2 ropes are on top right now. This could be flipped over and they could be on the bottom as long as they're on the same side. So what you do here is you start wrapping around this whole thing. Okay? Then when you get as many loops as you need, you just push it between the center here, like that. And you tend it. And that's actually the loop. And it tended up really nice. These coils should be in a fishing line. You're going to have a lot more coils on it. For just demonstration purposes here, this is a double wrap dropper loop, but it's very stable and it's moderately easy to untie. It does jam sometimes on some of the monofilaments. And that is a dropper loop.